to start out with the lights. My clearance lights, my right turn signal, left turn signal, four-way flashers. They are not cracked or damaged. They are proper color amber and they are working. My high beams, low beams, they are clean. They are not cracked or damaged and they are working. Now there's no visual leakages under my truck or anything dangling. Okay, we're starting on the left side of our vehicle. This is going to be our alternator. It is belt driven. It's not bent, cracked, or damaged, and it's secured. Next is our electrical wires. There's no abrasions, cuts, or exposed wire, and they are secured on each end. My belt, it's not torn or frayed, and there's no more than 3/4 inch of play. Next is going to be our water pump, and it is gear driven. It's not cracked, damaged, or leaking, and it's properly mounted. My hose is off my water pump. There's no abrasions, bulges, or cuts. It's not leaking, and it's secured on each end. That's it for the left side of the vehicle. We're going to start from the top, work our way down and out. First is our coolant reservoir. It's not cracked, damaged, or leaking, and it's secured. I would check and fill it here with my engine cold. My air compressor, it is gear driven. It's not cracked, damaged, or leaking, and it's properly mounted. My hoses, there are no abrasions, bulges, or cuts. They are not leaking, and they are secured on each end. My power steering reservoir, it is not cracked, damaged, or leaking. It is properly mounted, and I would check and fill it here. My pump is gear driven. My hoses, there's no abrasions, bulges, or cuts. They are not leaking, and they're all secured on each end. My gearbox, power steering gearbox, it's not cracked, damaged, or leaking, and it's properly mounted. Hoses, no abrasions, bulges, or cuts. They're not leaking, and they're secured on each end. My oil, I'd check my oil with my engine off. I'd pull it out, clean it off, stick it back in. If necessary, I would fill here. 6-point steering linkage. Now, you don't need to know the names, just point them out, and they're not bent, cracked, or damaged. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. They're not bent, cracked, or damaged. They are secured with 3 castle nuts. 1, 2, and 3. They are not cracked or damaged, and they're secured with cotter pins. Next are bushings. 1, 2, and 3. Same assemblies as the castle nuts. They're not overly worn and properly greased. Next is all 5 suspension parts. Hangers, leaf springs, U-bolts, shocks, and airbags. My front hanger, my back hanger, and my shackle. They're not bent, cracked, or damaged, and they are secured. Leaf springs, they're not scissoring, there's no shiny metal, and there's none missing. My U-bolts, they're not bent, cracked, or damaged. They're secured, no shiny metal on my threads. My shock absorber, it's not cracked, damaged, or leaking, and it's secured on each end. I don't have an airbag, so 5 brake parts. Airlines, brake chamber, slack adjuster, push rod, drums, and lining. My airlines, there's no abrasions, bulges, or cuts. They are not leaking, and they're secured on each end. My brake chamber, it's not cracked, damaged, or leaking. It's properly mounted, and it's secured with a clamp. My push rod, my slack adjuster, they're not bent, cracked, or damaged. There's no more than 1 inch play with my brakes off. They're secured. My drums and my brake pad, there's no oil, no grease, and there's no less than 1/4 inch of brake pad left. Next is going to be the rubber of the tire. ICD, inflation, condition, and depth. Inflation, I would maintain the PSI on the sidewall of my tire. I'd fill and check it there. It's not leaking. Condition, there's no abrasions, bulges, or cuts anywhere on my tire. It is evenly worn. And matching tires. Tread depth, they cannot be retreads, and the tread depth is no less than 432 in each major groove. Next is the rim. No legal welds, no oblong holes, not cracked or damaged. My lug nuts, they are all present and tight. There's no shiny metal on my threads or rust trails under my nuts. My hub oil seal, it's not cracked, damaged, or leaking. It's secured. I would check it here, and I would fill it here if necessary.